Hello and welcome to PAXTON Road TV. This is the PAXTON Road TV preview show for the game West Ham versus Spurs. I am Sam Spurs for life. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Please also smash that like button and share around your friends and fellow Spurs colleagues. And so in the house, welcoming, as always, residents Mike Hotspur, Hustler, Darius 3K, and Sean H. Welcome, guys. Yeah, let's get into this then. Let's get into this. So, after after what can only be called as a bit of a talking point in itself for the game on Thursday, let me just ask a quick opening about that. Do you think Nuno made the right decision with the team selection? And also, if he did, does he have to take any responsibility for the way the team performed on Thursday? I'm going to come to Darius 3K since he's all hooded up. Let's come to you first, Darius.
It's going to be difficult for me to give my review on the game because I didn't even watch the game, didn't realise the game was on, didn't want anything to do with that game. Happy I didn't watch the game because clearly the result wasn't good. I've not even watched the highlights, mate, because I've seen what people have said about the game. I watched what you guys said about the game, and to be honest, I don't really need to put myself through that. I have no problem with sort of the decision that he made. That was, when I saw the decision being made, the right one, in my opinion, because if we're leaving everybody in our team out that sort of started on the weekend, I know that they're going to start on the weekend. I know they're going to play. And West Ham is no team to push over at all. So, I mean, those players have just made it worse for themselves who started in that game against Vitesse. I mean, there's still a couple that I would still potentially bring into the first team and still playing to the first team. But to me, that game just proved that I would say, 70% of that team probably need to be sold in the next 2 windows. So, yeah, I mean, I really didn't have a problem with sort of what he did. It just basically exposed to me more the players that need to be sold. And to be fair, that's kind of what we needed. We just need to see it ourselves who isn't good enough, because some people still think that a lot of players deserve chances. And I'm not going to name names and do all that, but there's certain players that now I think everybody can see it's time to move on for their career and for the better of Tottenham Hotspur as well. Yeah,
I don't mind naming names. I did that yesterday.
I'm done naming names. I'm bored.
Me and Sid had a great one yesterday because I said personally, I would love the same team that played on Thursday to be put in front of the Spurs fans on Thursday coming for the next game and let them play again. Forget the cavalry, just keep the cavalry away and let them play and see if they have the same sort of attitude. Because it wasn't about the actual players in terms of the quality, because I think we had enough quality to beat the test all day long, every single day. There are some bang average players. Ben Davies is bang average. Sanchez, for me, I've seen enough now to know he can't play with certain players.
No, you're harsh on Sanchez, Sam. I think Sanchez was, I think he was pretty solid. I honestly think he was pretty solid. I don't think Thursday's performance, because I did catch up on the second half, but I don't think there was too much blame with the back line. Apart from, I agree with Davis. I mean, he couldn't earn a spot on Paxton Road, let alone getting a spot in that Tottenham team, whether it's the first or the second team. But yeah, Sanchez and Rodon, the goal that we can see, Galini should be. That. I would have liked to have thought I would have just kicked it away or something. Although I'm no keeper by any stretch of imagination, but that's a poor goal to be conceding.
I totally agree with you about the goal itself. Galini should have done better. Me and Sid said that yesterday. But what I was more alluding to, not because I watched them for a good 15 minutes as a pair. Those two can't play together, in my opinion, against higher level opposition, because they were both very much all over the place. Their positional sense was terrible, and because of that, it just made Vitesse look better because there was gaps appearing in the back line, and then they were making runs in, and I just didn't like that fact of it. I think you're right. I think there's more opportunity for these players to be improved because they're young enough. Rodon definitely, Sanchez definitely, but I just don't see it.
It just doesn't help though. If you've got a midfielder, if your back line haven't played together, like Tanganga, Sanchez, Rodon, they probably should be used to each other by now, given that they've been in that first team for a good few years, or a good couple of years, give or take. Davis as well, to be fair. I mean, they've been there for a good few seasons. They should know each other by now. But if what is in front of you is all over the place a little bit, there's holes, there's gaps, that defence then starts getting asked questions, and then you find your centre backs covering your left back, covering your right back, covering your centre midfield, and then like you say, it's all disjointed. So I can't. Me personally, I can't really lay too much. I can't fault the back line too much, because I just think that the midfield and from midfield onwards, I just don't think that there was much. They just didn't have much help from them because you got to defend as a team, haven't you? You defend from the front. So
100%.
If Scarlett's not doing his job at like trying to defend from the front, and then midfield going in and supporting them and defending, you're up against it straight away, aren't you? So
I 100% agree with all the sentiments, but I put into context it's Vitesse. You know what I mean? Vitesse ranked about 130 something in Europe. We're ranked 13. Even with the players that played on Thursday, they should still clearly be a lot better than them. And that's my only point. And I didn't see enough in the defensive side of things to give me confidence that they could play against higher level opposition and do well. But
which is why it further reinforces what we were saying, doesn't it, about certain players just not being good enough. That's what I mean. That's why I don't have a problem with this, because, like I said, all those players that started, I know are good enough. These guys needed to prove themselves and still haven't.
Is it that they're not good enough, or is it they all lacking confidence? Because if you listen to Winks, the guy just sounded like he was shot for confidence, and he even admitted that he's low on confidence. So if he's low on confidence, how many of those other boys are low on confidence? And if you've got a team, or even if it's just 50% of your team that are low on confidence, you're up against it straight away. So,
but I've seen players turn this around. Though I've seen players turn this around. I mean, Ndombele's been sort of in and out of the team, and he still can perform. But I know he's, in terms of ability, he's miles of those players. But I just think that if you don't have the ability and you're lacking confidence, you can still work hard. But it's going to get you so far, isn't it? At the end of the day, Dele Alli's been working hard, and it's still not really done much for his performances. So, and I'm not just getting onto him. There's other players as well. I just think that the confidence thing is one thing, but I've seen players gain their confidence back. I've seen players improve, and certain players over the space of 3 years and 3 managers just aren't improving anymore. And how much more can we say that it's a lack of confidence? Do you know what I mean? I think that now it's time to just sort of cut ties. I do agree certain players will get better. Like, I think Bergwijn, Sessegnon with confidence will get better, but there are a couple of players there that I just don't think are there.
I think Ali should have played up front. I would have put Ali up front on Thursday. Scarlett's he's just not ready. Like, you could just see it. He's a boy in a man's game at the moment, and that's the same thing
you said about the defense, Mike. When you said the defense was, because the midfield wasn't able to protect them, it's the same thing for Scarlett. Because the midfield wasn't able to create for him, he's running around doing things, and he's not getting the service. A 17-year-old kid needs to have the ball in the areas which he can at least strike. Like if he was playing for the under-23s, he'd probably had 5, 6, 7, 8 attempts. He's not going to get that many, and particularly in the team that we played on Thursday, who created absolutely nothing. 1 shot on target, we had 6 shots in total. That's just terrible for a guy who's 17. He's never going to score goals in that team.
To give him a fighting chance, you've got to be playing with higher quality. I mean, if you're going to play Scarlett, you might as well put him in a team that you're going to have Son, Mora, Kane, and Ndombele, people that are going to give him service, because there's no point in playing him. There's simply no point in playing a 17-year-old if you ain't giving him quality in terms of service.
Yeah. And he can't be expected to carry the line with players that are he needs, as you do with youngsters, you bring him in a team that's flourishing, you bring him in with experienced players and get them the confidence that they need, not put Scarlett in a team like that and then expect him to lead the line and be banging in 2 or 3 goals. I'll come to Sean. What did you think of the game Thursday, and was there anything that Nuno could have done differently apart from team selection? What's your thoughts, Sean?
I mean, I'm intrigued by your assessment, Sam, that he should play the same 11 next week. I think if he is serious about this competition, he's going to have the artillery on the bench next game. Next week, I think we play Burnley, don't we? It's not the European game, but
is it United? When do we play United? Is it this week? The weekend following? Oh, okay,
this is following week, yeah. But I think we need. I don't put as much blame on Nuno as the players themselves. It's like Hoddle said after the game. You need to be, the motivation for yourself starts within, and there's clearly some players just haven't got it within them anymore. And as Darius has already said, that we need to move players on. Unfortunately, I'd love to see Weghorst get a chance in Spain. Dele can go anywhere. I'm sure someone will want him because of what he has shown in the past. But yeah, I mean, the people that really needed to watch that game were sitting Lily White House, and we'll say, that's the people that need to see that game and make the decisions pronto, because we are going backwards in terms of squad depth.
What I want to do
before we turn it into a review game, why don't we preview the West Ham game?
I know that's what I'm moving on to now. But in the press, in the press conference after the game, obviously they do the West Ham bit as well. So Nuno was asked about how players who might be in contention, asked about players who he felt aren't quite playing as well as they should. And Dele Alli's name came up quite a number of times. So one of the reporters asked him, how can you get the best out of Dele Alli? This is what he had to say.
Years ago.
All the players in our squad, we have to realize that during their careers are ups and downs. And I think it's my job to try and make the best out of them. Dele inclusive. I don't look individually. When I judge them, I'm very fair. Dele started very well the competition, and now he's not in his best moment. So it's up to us to get him back in the best moment that he can.
No shit, Sherlock. He's not in his best moment. I know that. We all know that. But the question was, how do you get the best out? He's skirted around it. So I'm going to ask you lot on the panel here, and I'm going to start with Sid. How does Nuno get the best out of Dele Alli currently? What does he need to do?
I don't think there is anything he can do.
And this is coming from Sid.
I'm a massive Dele fan, right? But unfortunately, I don't think Nuno can do anything. He's tried 6-7 games in. Mm-hmm. I agree with what Darius was saying. He's fitness-wise, he's on top form. He's been showing all these videos of him doing his fitness, getting fit, muscles, blah, blah, blah. But on the pitch, it's nothing there. He's not showing any... there's no passion, there's no commitment. He's not showing anything. I mean, even when he's passing the ball, it's like a lethargic pass. There's no effort in it. It's just one of them where, you know what, let me just pass it, carry on. So personally, I think it's within Dele himself to turn it around. I don't think there's anyone at Spurs now that can do it. And you lot guys are going to love what I'm going to say next, yeah? But the only way he's going to improve, and the only thing Nuno can do now to improve him is sell him in January or in the summer. Yeah.
We need like a breaking news banner overlay or something like that.
Oh my god!
We need a breaking news banner.
I even froze myself. Oh my god!
Keanu Reeves done a film about it, mate. It's breaking point now, isn't it? That's it.
These words came out of Sid's
mouth. Do you know what though? Sid says it out of love. He says it out of love.
I'm not a Dele out of the club. I want Dele. I want him to go elsewhere and become the player that we all know he can. And if it means going to Newcastle or Spain or wherever, then so be it. But I think his best days at Spurs are done. I think he's done at Spurs. Seriously, I think he's done.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a landmark time.
That's what I was going to say. I'm going to come to you and then I'm going to come to Mike. Because that is a moment. That's a moment in time. That is a moment in time. The back and forth
end of days.
And Sid's not having it. And all of a sudden, he's all right to go in January. What the hell's going on? Darius, is there anything that Nuno could do to... Because I said, if Dele's on the bench tomorrow and we need someone to come in and turn the game around, I would expect players like that, Gil, Bergwijn, potentially to have that opportunity to do that. I would still want Dele Alli to be able to contribute something. But what can he do? What can he do to be improved, if anything?
The only thing he can do is get on the phone and ask Patrick Vieira if he's got an extra space in his squad, because I'm not even trying to be mean, and I don't even want to sort of rag on him because it's getting boring now. I mean, it's been 2 years for me since I've sort of seen a very, very good Dele Alli. And I thought he did almost kind of con me at the start of the season with the sort of fitness videos and the hard work and the good performances, to be fair. I'm not going to lie. He was playing very well at the start of the season, but I honestly, I said there's going to be, and I think Danny said it on a show. He said, give it 10 games, Dyer and Dele will be back to normal. And unfortunately, it only took 6. So it's just one of them where it's almost you can predict what's going to happen. I don't think it's his fault. I also don't think it's the manager's fault. I just think it's a stale situation. I mean, he had his best season, probably one of the best seasons any youngster's had in his second season at Spurs at 19 years old. You hit your heights. I understand that. I think for me, the only way I can prove, or the only way he can prove to everyone and sort of his fans that he still wants to play football at a high level is he does go to another club and sort of has a resurgence like Jesse Lingard, where he would just, like you said, go in January, play your football, be the main guy, get the ball, and see if you can sort of revive your career. But I think Grandpa Stevens, I think this is honestly the comment he said before about him being retired before 30. I just don't think his heart's in it anymore. I think as much as he hasn't even won any trophies, I think he's really just felt or lived everything he really wants to live. I don't think he's bothered about sort of that glory. So unfortunately, just for everyone's sake, I just think moving a couple players on like Dele Alli is beneficial. It's not saying like, oh, Dele Alli's crap, get him out. It's not that. It's just looking from a bit, like Sid said, he's seen the perspective. He's seen that it's not going to improve anymore. I don't think after 3 managers you can really say that. It's just time to sort of move on. And I keep saying on many streams, he's probably one of the few players where you could probably get a good fee as well and sort of use that money to rebuild that squad and buy quality in that team. So it just makes sense. It really just does make sense. And he's not proving it. He's not helping his case either. So
let me ask Mike something then. Mike, how can, because obviously we've got to focus on the game tomorrow and he's probably going to be on the bench tomorrow. How can he make an impact if required? What I'm trying to look at his best position. Where would you bring him on if you said to Dele, right, we're losing 2-1 and you're thinking, right, Dele Alli, somehow we're going to get him into this team. Where would you put him on and how would you get him to think to himself, right, go and win us the game or go and do something? What can he do? What can Nuno do to get that out of him?
He needs to play as close to Harry Kane as possible. That I think, and I meant not whether it be as a forward or striker, I don't know, but he needs to be as close to Harry Kane because if Harry Kane, which he does quite often, drop in a little bit deeper, which he has. I think we saw it against Newcastle quite a few times. He did tend to drop in. I think that's probably just to help the midfield and the back line out occasionally. But Dele Alli should occupy that space that he leaves. And I think if he gets the through balls, I would probably bank on Dele to probably hit the back of the net.
I was just going to say, Mike, do you not think, and this is probably to everyone as well, I think Dele Alli's finishing has declined significantly. Because he used to finish in ridiculous efforts. So efforts that you don't sort of expect him to finish. But I think his finishing has been poor over the past couple of years.
Again, I don't think it's a case that his finishings all of a sudden got poor or is poor or has declined. I think it's down to confidence. But if Dele Alli was through on goal, I would still back him to hit the back of the net, even if he is in bad form. I still think he's still got the know-how. He's still got the ability. He's still got that. He's still capable of hitting the back of the net. I would still back him if he was one-on-one with the keeper. I'd probably still back him to hit the back of the net. But I think for him to get his confidence back, he needs to be in as close as that opposition's 18-yard box as possible, because that's where he's best when he's in and around operating in the opposition's 18-yard box. If you got him back in our 18-yard box or in our own half, you can get a ball and you can find a pass and stuff, but he's not effective. Whereas he's most effective when he's up close with Harry Kane, running beyond him, which we've seen numerous times. And he can be clinical with his finishing. We've seen it over the years. So for me, if we were trailing and he was to come on, I'd be like, right, I want you as close up. And even if that means just altering the formation slightly, I'd be like, get as close to Harry Kane. If Harry Kane drops deep, I want you occupying that space behind him, because he will find you with a through ball, and it's down to you then to hit the back of the net. And if he doesn't hit it, we flog him.
As Sid says in January, get rid of him. Sean, I'm going to come to you next. this is the league table on form. So the last two games, we've obviously had 2 victories. The last 2 games of West Ham haven't had a victory. They've drawn and lost 1. Who do you see is going into this game as being the favourites? We're 1 point ahead of West Ham at the moment, but we all know it's a London derby. Who's the favourites going into tomorrow's game?
It's kind of 50-50, isn't it, really? I think I normally enjoy going into West Ham because for the previous years, we've been patting them on the head and sort of, patronising them. But I think West Ham have made significant improvements and they are on the up, and we are kind of treading water a bit. And I've kind of put it down to the fact that they've had really good recruitment, and it really annoys me that Jared Bowen, who we were linked with, has gone there. Saeed Benrahma, who we were linked with, has gone there and has made that team. David Moyes has obviously got a recruitment team, or whether he's involved in that recruitment process. He's got those great guys from the Eastern Europe. He just seems to have got himself a team. I think their recruitment team is just knocks us into a cocked hat, to be honest. I think we're suffering from a lack of someone with expertise in many markets, but I wish we would take chances on Championship players, because I think we need. I've said to Sid before, we do need players that know the leagues, know the British game, if you like, and we seem to have stopped doing that, and I think we've stalled. So I'm kind of 50-50. I would say West Ham being at home might well give them just a slight edge.
Okay, Sid, I'll ask the same question of you. Who's the favourites going into tomorrow's game?
If you're looking at last couple of weeks' form and in general the way West Ham have started the whole season, I was saying to you yesterday, Sam, West Ham are the only British club in Europe not to concede so far. So Moyes got something going there. They've got something we haven't got, which is team spirit, everyone playing together as a team, as a unit. And I personally think West Ham will be favourites going into tomorrow's game, especially being at home as well. And the way we've been playing, the way, the lack of unity and that, I think you've got to give West Ham, they've got to be favourites tomorrow. I think we'll be underdogs, and it's for us to go there and ruin the party, to be fair.
100%.
Okay. How do we go about doing that, Mike? What's the approach from Spurs tomorrow? Is it going to be more of how we played against Newcastle, or is it go back to a kind of like the way we played against Man City first game of the season, very much a counter-attack style football? What are you seeing tomorrow?
I'm not giving West Ham too much respect. They're doing quite well, but let's not beat about the bush here. West Ham are beatable. They haven't had a great last few weeks. Yeah, they're doing okay in Europe, but they're playing in Europa. They're not playing in the Premier League. So the last couple of weeks, West Ham haven't looked that great, and they haven't had great results. So West Ham, they are beatable. We've got the players that can hurt West Ham. So I'm not putting this West Ham team in the same bracket as Liverpool or Man City.
Everything's beatable, Mike.
Yeah.
We've got no excuses though going into this game about players being tired. We've got no players that none of those 11 who will start tomorrow have travelled.
And this is my point as well. How many of the West Ham players played Thursday? There's probably going to be a few, because I don't think West Ham really have got a second team. Or you could argue we haven't got a second team, but we've got enough to put out a second team without our 11 that's going to start on Sunday having played. So for me, I think Nuno has to keep the same formation. It's obvious that he's going to keep the same team, but keep the same formation and just do what we've been doing the last couple of weeks, like against Villa, against Newcastle. Create the chances that we have and just be clinical in finishing them. And there was one last thing, and I've completely forgotten what I was going to say.
We'll come to Darius.
Got back from my head, but yeah,
we'll come back to you. So sorry, Sid, go on.
I was going to say what you just said there, right? That they didn't have that many players playing on Thursday. Does that mean now that we're going to be under more pressure because all that 11 that we're going to field didn't play on Thursday? So isn't that going to be more pressure now on us to win that game? Because if we don't win that game, they're going to say, well, hold on a second. West Ham had X amount of players on Thursday and they've still come out and beat Spurs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not about players'
There's
quality.
always pressure, isn't there?
Yeah, but we've got better quality players. If you look at our front line in with Ndombele, Son, Kane, and more, throw that four in there. They played really well against Newcastle. I know it's Newcastle. So that's now we're going to see how they perform against the likes of West Ham, who are definitely a cut above what Newcastle were. We can obviously know that. So, Darius, knowing these are the last 5 results against West Ham, so we've had, the last game we lost 2-1 to them at home, but that 3-3 result, I think we'll all be ingrained in our memory banks forever and ever. But we've it's pretty even. It's a pretty even split, 2 wins each and a draw. So how do you see, and who do you see as being the favourites going into tomorrow's game?
West Ham, quite easily. West Ham, in my opinion. I don't see how we actually perform well in this game or dominate the game, because that Olympic Stadium against us, West Ham, this is West Ham's biggest game of the season. I don't care what anybody says. Definitely. This is West Ham's biggest game of the season at home. They know that they're sort of doing better than us at the moment. They're in the Europa League. They've not conceded, top of the group. I think West Ham are going to go in with all the confidence. I just looked at their squad that started against Genk. Rice started, Cresswell started, Bowen started, Souček started, and then they brought on Ben Rama, Fornals, and Frederick. So they brought on a few players. A lot of players did start. So you guys are right in what you're saying. If we don't sort of win this game, it's going to be embarrassing. But I do have respect for West Ham, unfortunately, because they are a very good team. And I think Grandpa Steven said it in the chat, or somebody said it in the chat. I think we have the better squad, but they are definitely the better team and are much more of a well-oiled system. David Moyes has them defending and attacking very well. And Antonio is going to give any of those centre-backs a nightmare on the weekend. So
I don't know who they've played. I don't know who West Ham have played. I can't remember the results, but I can't remember who they played. But they haven't won in 2 games in the Prem. So they've lost the last game, and
I think they won their last game
in the Prem.
They beat Everton 1-0. They beat Everton 1-0, and they lost to Brentford the game before that.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my apologies. I might have had a slight information overload that meant it wasn't right. Anyway, sorry.
No, but just saying, I think that we can't go into, like I said, there's 2 things that we can't do in this game. One thing is like disrespect West Ham and sort of press high, because they will catch us out. And 2 is if we don't play Oliver, Skip and Højbjerg, then we're going to lose the game 100%. It will be a repeat of Arsenal all over again. So that midfield, I'm not going to lie to you. Some people may not like what I'm about to say, but I think I would rather have Rice and Souček as my double pivot than Højbjerg and Skip. I think those 2 are one of the best double pivots, one of the most underrated double pivots in the league.
Not Souček. I generally see about Souček. He's another player that I kind of think everybody's raving about. Souček. He goes
underappreciated. It's not even the goals for me. He goes underappreciated. He doesn't really have a bad game. It's sort of like Kante. He's
not a world beater though, is he?
He's not a world beater, but neither is Ollie Skip, and that's the thing. He does the job, and he's consistent, and he can also bag goals as well, and he can defend and attack in both. I think he's
I think Skip's got more in his locker than Souček.
I personally agree. I agree with that.
But we'll find. That's what I'm saying. We'll find that out. I think that will be the big battle is midfield. It's going to be a massive battle. Declan Rice is in a. If you don't like Souček, then you have to rate Declan Rice. I'm sorry. He is one of the.
I give Declan, but he's what is above Declan. I know he's in the England school, but what is his qualities that's going to be much more than Oliver Skip's?
Declan Rice. If you watch Declan Rice, he's 22 years old, commanding. He can. What in my opinion his most underrated skill is dribbling ability, getting past players. He can win the ball and he can go past 2 or 3 players and get West Ham into an attacking position very quickly. So you have to be wary about Declan. I'm telling you now, Declan Rice is West Ham's most important player in that squad by far. That's why he plays every game, and that's why he's basically the captain, because he is that important. But obviously not going to carry on banging on about West Ham. I just think that players have to do their job. This team has to start this game, and everybody has to sort of maybe not be as sort of gung-ho starting the game. If West Ham do leave spaces, which they will, then I do believe the quality in our team can sort of exploit it and counter very effectively, because that's how Nuno will set us up. But honestly, I think a lack of respect for West Ham will definitely sort of bite us on the bum going towards this game. So I say hold judgment, or sort of hold the attacking force just for maybe the first 20 minutes. Let's see the game. See into the game.
I'm gonna say to Sean, do you think this will be the start? I think it's an obvious question, but if there was anybody that I'll put it another way. Is there anybody that could potentially come into this starting 11 from the game against Newcastle? Because I don't see many changes, if any, but you tell me. Is there anybody that could come in for tomorrow's game?
I can't see it, to be honest. I think this is our top performing squad and formation at the moment. And to be honest, my concern, and I think I agree with everything Darius has just said about Rice and Souček, that we face a very tough opponent tomorrow. I can't see anyone to come in unless there's an impact sub, and we know that Nuno's got a very ambivalent attitude towards substitutions at the moment. So I think we just got to go. My major concern is that in both the Villa game and the Newcastle game, we took time to settle down from the first kickoff, and we were exploited in the Newcastle game by one of the worst teams in the division, and Villa could have gone ahead in that first 15-20 minutes. So we've got to be bang on it from minute one. So yes,
we have started slowly for a lot of games, haven't we?
But those last two games, which we consider our best performances of recent days, we did start slow in both of them, and we can't afford to do that tomorrow. Cannot.
No, you're right. It's going to be a tough game regardless. And like I think Darius mentioned, might just kind of dismiss West Ham. I'm not going to quite dismiss them, but I'm on the same sort of page.
Dismiss them. I just don't give them as much respect as.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't give them as much respect because I don't like him, to be honest with you. I don't like him from the days of Mark Noble coming on. Do you know what I mean? He's one of them players I just want to smack in the face. And that's not. I'm not advocating violence. I'm not advocating violence at all. But I do want to smack him in his head.
Sound like Patrice Evra.
He's so annoying, and because it's Spurs, you know what it's like. If they beat us, it's just all over. It's all over Twitter. Their fans are like what they are. The players, in fact, when they got that equaliser against us when it was 3-3, the memes that they put out, it was just unbelievable because it's their World Cup.
And they didn't even win.
And they didn't even win, but they won the last game against us. Mike, do you see it being a tough assignment, or are we looking at this? Is just going to be right? A standard. If we perform to our abilities, I don't think it matters. If we play to the best of our abilities in terms of our front four, I don't think it matters because I think we've got enough in our midfield to cater for that. Their possible counter attacks. Our front four could win us the game tomorrow. Do you see that being the case?
Yeah. If our front four are on fire, West Ham's back line, they're not great. They'll concede goals. If our back line are at it, sorry, not our back line. Sorry, if our front four are at it, then we should be able to hurt West Ham's back line without a shadow of a doubt. The only thing, West Ham, if you was to look at any areas of the team, they're pretty solid in midfield. They've got Antonio up front, who will be a problem. But
is this going to be a battle then? Because this comment here from Moljo, do you think Mikel Antonio is better than Lukaku because Romero has shackled Lukaku, so he'll do the same with Antonio?
That's actually debatable.
That's actually debatable. Lukaku. That's a big shout.
That's a big shout. I wouldn't say.
It's not better, but it's debatable. It's definitely debatable at the moment. I don't care what anyone
says, isn't it? He might be in better form, but
he needs to be playing for England. At least give the guy a chance for England because Antonio is actually.
He's not. He's playing for Jamaica now. He said he's not playing.
Is he actually? Is he actually going to? Unfortunately. But no, I get what
Molde is. It's not a bad move for him, though, is it? If you think about it, playing international football,
100%.
You got Harry. Harry Kane, as long as he's England captain. Why should anyone? And Antonio's. It's not a case of Antonio's a bad footballer. He's not. He's a very good footballer, but. If you want to play international football and you want to be guaranteed a spot, why not play for Jamaica? He'll play in international football. He'll be one of the first 11. So yeah, fair play to him. But Romero, he could. If we stop the supply to Antonio, then we stand a very good chance of having a good.
Is Romero a guaranteed starter in our team now? Along the same lines,
along the
same line. I'm talking like the Hojbjerg, Son, Kane level. Is he?
He's on that par, mate.
100%.
Okay, I'll just check. I'll just checking we're all on the same page. I'll just check.
100%.
I was ready to argue.
Tell me who else you put in there currently, because I wouldn't put any of them others in there. Tanganga.
So does Dyer have to partner him then? Is that the
I think that's the most important. The partnership with Romero has to be, because I cannot see him playing with Sanchez, Romero and Sanchez. I think that's a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think Tanganga is enough of a leader, and I don't think he's quite. I say physical. He's physical, but there's something about his play in centre back that I'm just not sure if Romero and him would be a good partnership. I think the Dyer thing, although we've ridiculed Dyer, and we've done it on this show many a times, it just works because of
it just works.
And he knows
it just works.
It just works.
It's working
and
at
he knows
the
the
moment.
importance as well, doesn't he? He knows that West Ham. He knows the fans from the fan perspective. He knows how massive this game is to the fans as well, Dyer. So he will be out there and he'll give over 100% because he'll want to perform not for himself but also for the fans, because he knows. He knows.
It just works. And the thing is, like, it's not like I said this in our last video. Dyer isn't the best. He's not the best centre back in the world. It works for us at the moment because of player profile, and I think that a centre back partnership is massively hindered on player profile. If you don't have the correct sort of two players, for example, a left-footed and a right-footed, or an aggressor and someone who sort of drops off, you have to get that right, because you can have two world-class centre backs. If they're both aggressors, you're going to leave so much gaps in the back. They won't look like good centre backs, and also it also is dependent on the formation and how the manager plays as well. I think Romero's in a situation where he could be immense. I think you could upgrade Dyer. You could easily go into the market and upgrade Dyer, but for now, I really don't think there's any other centre backs in our squad that's going to match Romero's sort of player profile as much as Dyer will. And to get the best out of Romero, if you have to play Dyer, I'm all for that. I don't care.
He's
playing well at the moment as well.
And this is what we're saying. We look at Dyer's individual performances, we look at his mistakes, and we all go, "Oh, he's done it again." But I've watched him in the games, and again, I'm not saying he's a world-class player, far from it, but he does things now which has improved him, certainly from the Mourinho days and certainly from Nuno days. He looks like a better defender now. He's not the best defender, but he's better. And if his improvement can continue with the leadership qualities that he's beginning to show, I think with Romero alongside him, who's going to do all that dirty work and do all the tackling and be the aggressor, Dyer can get to look better himself. And I think that's the issue. Sometimes when he plays with others, he looks worse than he actually is, because playing with Sanchez is not going to help your performance looking great anyway. And Rodon a bit is erratic for me. And
final part of this interesting.
Go on, sorry.
Sam, that's interesting. Before we close that, is that down to Nuno that he's become better? Because if is that a project?
Has to be.
Has Dyer become Nuno's project? You did see them after the Newcastle game having a little one-to-one. I wonder whether this could be the first signs of Nuno improving our players.
And do you know why I say that? Because
just a question I'm throwing out there, really.
Nuno being a goalkeeper, having played at highest level and seen how defenders work, knows what should work as a centre-back pairing. So when you're a goalkeeper, you see everything in front of you, particularly your two centre-backs. And when you start seeing them wandering all over the place, you get scared as a goalkeeper, because once gaps start appearing, you're known that you're next in line to be have a shot. So you've got to get your centre-backs in the right position majority of the time. And I think that's where Nuno's been working on. I clearly see he knows that Dyer isn't the best, but I think he's seen enough qualities to pair him with someone like Romero and get the best out of him. So let's hope. We'll see tomorrow.
Also, to be fair as well, I do think that
good points.
It's very true. Like, I think Eric Dyer he's like you said, he's a good centre back. He is improving, and I also think that the fact that our team aren't conceding as many shots, the volume of shots have gone down. I know we still are conceding quite a few shots, but we're not conceding sort of 15, 16 shots anymore. And I just think that also just makes defenders look a lot better. If you're not conceding 20 shots a game, then you ain't going to look as bad. And I think that's just going to make you have to defend less, which makes you look like a better centre-back. And that's always a help, because that's due to sort of the formation and the system changing, as opposed to also just the individual changing. I mean, we didn't think Dyer could get much better than Mourinho, and Mourinho improved Dyer as well. So to say that Nuno's got even more out of him, I think there's even room for a lot of that's what I'm saying. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for these players anymore. If Dyer can improve, there's no excuse for these players who are 4 or 5 years younger than him. And do you know what I mean? I just don't see any more excuses.
Sometimes it's all.
I was just going to say, man, I just want to give this shout out because obviously our first super chat in here from Josh from Tottenham. Guy, thank you very much for your contribution, Josh. Massive thanks to you. Eric Dyer masterclass incoming. So Josh thinks that we've got Eric Dyer being the master class in our defense. Sorry, Mike, what was you going to say?
I think it's just going back to Dyer. Sometimes as a player, although you can have all the coaching in the world that will give you the tools to become a better player, sometimes it's who you play with that can bring you the best out of you. So it might be that Romero suits Dyer in terms of how that affects Dyer's game, because if he knows there's someone that's going to be the aggressor and is exceptional at intercepting and reading the game and intercepting passes, breaking up play, etc., how Romero does, then that might suit Dyer and how that affects his game. Because if he knows he's got someone who's going to go out, do the aggressing, and all he's got to do is kind of sweep up, and as long as Dyer can read the game, then there should be no reason why it couldn't bring out the best in Dyer. But you have to have the concentration levels. 9 games for 90 minutes. You can't sort of afford to switch off, which Dyer is capable of doing. But just have to wait and see.
We are gonna have to wait and see. But there's a few comments coming back and forth about Dyer here. Nah, Josh is thinking he's going to turn up. Adam's saying that he's a disaster class, not master class, which is I think is quite funny. There, that's a pretty good one. Josh Adams going back and forth saying, I hope he does. So we're all hoping that Dyer does become this player who cuts out those mistakes. Let's come to my favorite part of the show. And it is, as always, the score prediction. And we're going to start off Mr. Hurl down there. And we're going to go round to Sid. Then we're going to go out to Darius and then Mike. And I'm going to be left last for this one. So let's start off with Go on, Mr. Hurl. Tell us what you think. What's the score going to be tomorrow?
I'm hoping for Spurs win, but I think as of today, I think a 2-2 draw.
2-2. That's not a bad shot, actually. I think that's if you look at the previous games as well, I don't think that'd be a bad result. It keeps them below us. I think maybe though, because of the games that are coming up, Man United versus Liverpool, we could take advantage of that if Liverpool beat Man United and go a little bit further ahead of Man United if we could win the game. But 2-2, fair dues. Ask Sid. I'm going to ask Sid. What's your score prediction, Sid? I'm
just hoping they don't hammer us tomorrow. It's a joke. But you know what? It's one of them, isn't it? We want us to win, but it just depends which Tottenham turns up. The fact that none of them played midweek and we've been training all week, I just hope they don't turn up in training mode. So I personally think it's going to be a tough game, and I'm going to go with my youngest one's prediction, and he reckons we're going to win 2-1.
2-1 Spurs there from Sid. you know that. That's what I said. I'm just waiting till last, and I can just make something up because you're all taking my scores anyway, so it don't really matter what I do. Darius, what's your thoughts?
Sid?
I am not confident at all.
That's a surprise, Darius.
Like I said, after that Arsenal game, I don't think I can trust the team anymore. I'm just picturing that Olympic Stadium absolutely raucous. Like you said, Sam, it's the big West Ham World Cup final of the season. Home, they'll start their strongest team. I think they're in decent form. I don't think we're going to win this game. I don't think we're going to get a result. I think we're going to lose. I think we're going to lose 2-1. I'm sorry.
I think West Ham towards the end of the show. He's only gone.
I think West Ham are going to do us in. I don't think that team can handle the pressure of West Ham and their fans. I really don't. I have no faith in that team. And I know that none of those players on Thursday are going to play, but that just proves to me that if we do need to have an impact off the bench, there's not many people that are going to really make an impact. So I'm sorry, guys, to bring it down, but this game has made me nervous since last week. I've been nervous for this game since last week. I'm more nervous for this game than I am Man United next week. So,
Darius,
I'm sorry.
Score, Darius. The score.
2-1. 2-1 West Ham.
2-1 Whammers.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna get roasted now.
You definitely are.
Mike looks like he's gonna block me on everything.
He's gonna block you on all chats, all functions.
I'm never gonna speak to Mike again now.
Darius,
he's done with you.
I'm not angry with you, mate. I'm just disappointed.
You should be used to it, bro. So I can't even agree. You should be used to it.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
But every time Darius has made a prediction against Spurs, we've won. So I like what you're doing, mate. That reverse psychology will come in good for us. So on the back of that, I wanted to go 2-1, but Sid's got it. I'm going 3-2 Spurs.
You can still have it, Mike. It's fine.
Nah.
You can still have it.
I like to share. It's okay.
Nah, I don't share. I don't like sharing, Sid. So you can have it.
Oh, there's no love in the house.
There's no love in the house. No love. No love. Simplace is saying Darius is a realistic fan and there's nothing wrong with that. Amondi Juma, welcome on Monday. Hopefully you play your A team. Josh, the Tottenham guy, says, boo. Darius, what are you doing, man? Darius is getting some bright emojis getting down here. Amondi saying 1-1. Marlon saying Darius has changed.
Marlon, I'll give you the exact date. 26th of September. 26th of September. That was the date that I changed. 26th of September when I watched that disgusting performance against Arsenal.
We're not finished with you yet, Darius. Josh the Tottenham guy says, I used to like Darius. What's happened to him? I don't know. I mean, Darius does have a point.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Adam.
Darius, don't think Nuno will make the same mistakes he made against the Woodage. Marlon says Spurs will be okay. So, Darius, you know what happens. If we're talking West Ham or Arsenal, we can't be like this. No matter what we think in our heads, we have to go positive because we get grief. I'm going positive. I'm definitely going positive, but it's going to be a tough game. I can see. I like Sid's scoreline. I'm going to go with that one because sharing is caring. So I'm going to go 1-2. I think it's going to be Spurs just going to narrowly get that with a winner somehow in whatever minute it's going to be. But 2-1 to Spurs for me. I like that.
Yeah.
Darius out.
I've got some reasonable fans.
Who said Darius had a point? Darius hasn't got a point.
He ain't got no points. Darius has got no points.
You know what? Like I said, 24 hours.
Nil point.
It will all come out. It will all come out.
You know what, honestly, Darius, I sort of agree with you. The only reason I won't give West Ham the win is because my wife's family are all West Ham, right? And the season ticket holders, and they will do our heads in. And I cannot give them the victory.
It's like I said, I think it's going to, at the end of the day, it means, I don't care what anybody says, it means so much more to them, this game, than it does to us. And at that Olympic Stadium, with those fans going balmy, because I know they will. They love this game. The 3-3, it's 2 games going. We've had horrible performances, horrible results against this team. I can't go into this game confident anymore. I really can't, because the squad's on par. The 11's almost on par. There's a lot of players in that team that I would put in that Tottenham 11. So I'm sorry to say this, guys. I really am.
Sorry. I've got to read this one out from Mojo. Selling to We Are Tottenham TV in January. That might have to happen. We might have
I want a signing on fee. I want a signing on fee. Tell Sim and Ben I want that signing on fee and I'm joining.
Can see where Darius is coming from, especially.
I'm Darius's agent. I want
to turn up and show some.
Yeah, Hotspur Hurley, you've got me.
Holding up for Newcastle.
I think Marlon mentioned. Marlon made a comment about the Arsenal game and the fact that it was shocking. But Nuno has learned his lesson insofar as I don't think he'll play that formation, and it is a horrid formation, like Marlon said, 4-3-3. If we're playing 4-3-3 tomorrow, we will get exposed. But I don't think that would happen. I think, as we all probably expect, Nuno will go 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, it has to be the same 11. It just has to be the same 11, doesn't it? And there's no excuses. None of them travelled.
The only spot that I think could be up for grabs would be Emerson's.
You think?
Yeah, just because
Really?
I think Tanganga he's a far better defensively than
Make a good point.
Emerson at the moment, and I just wonder because if you've got Reggie bombing on, and if you've got Emerson bombing on, and you're leaving Dyer and Romero, I know Skip probably be around there just protecting them, but if you've got Tanganga there, just makes us a little bit more from a defensive unit, or just solidify. Oh, I can't even pronounce the word now. It's gone. Solidify us as a defensive back line. So
Adam, sorry, no, hold on, Adam, I'm going to take this. He has not had enough abuse.
Okay.
If he's saying that West Ham are going to win, he's not had enough abuse.
You're getting one more. You're getting one more hot take just for that, Sam. You're getting one more hot take, Mike. Honestly, Mike, and this is genuine. This is me being genuine. I'm not convinced by Tanganga at all. I don't think Tanganga really will have a place in the. If you can't solidify a centre back or a right back spot, and I do get with you defensively, he probably is better, but going forward and just sort of. As a right back, he's just not a right back, and he doesn't want to play right back. And as a centre back, he's just not tall enough. He's not commanding enough. So I don't know where he's going to play. I'm actually kind of worried. I don't think Tanganga is as good as people are making him out to be.
I think you know what? I think he's maybe not going to be the first choice. I think because he's got this
like James
a hybrid. He's got this hybrid position. Is he a right back? Is he a centre back? Personally, I don't think he's going to make it at centre back at Spurs. I don't think he's big enough. I think he could make it as a right back, but he needs to be more attacking, have more attacking. If he could get that side of his game right, I think he's a really good prospect for a right back because he's a big game player. We've seen in the games that he's coming in, the big games, the Man Cities and Liverpools, he's always performed really, really well. It's just the games where we're on top.
You get onto Aaron. I just see him the exact same as Aaron Wan-Bissaka. That's the thing. And you get onto Aaron Wan-Bissaka for having a lack of attack. You always get onto Aaron Wan-Bissaka for having a lack of attack.
I do give Aaron Wan-Bissaka a lot more grief, but he's playing at Man United. That's the difference for me. Do you know what I'm saying? He's a similar type of player, but he's at Man United. Man United expect more. Our expectation should be a little bit lower, but I'm not disagreeing with you. I think he could be better. But if his attacking sense was as good as his defensive sense, we've got a real player on our hands because he's 22 years of age. He's got real desire. He's a Spurs lad, and he's always been a big game player. For that reason, I think he's got ability. But when the games where we need to be on the front foot, I don't see him in the box enough, particularly on Thursday's game. He weren't in the box enough for me. So, just go for a few.
He's gonna be our new Eric Dyer. And basically, from what you just said, when Eric Dyer retires, he's going to be the new. He was here from day one. Tottenham lad, Eric Dyer. That's what he'll be. He's a new Eric Dyer.
You're absolutely killing the stream today. People are just not having it. People actually now putting in capitals. What am I watching? Darius, stop it. You're breaking my heart. This has been a great one. Craig said he does look like centre back playing right back. It seems forced. Yeah, maybe he needs to adopt. I don't know. With
back three.
I think Tanganga is in the back three.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's the right-sided centre-back.
Back three, right centre-back. That'll be the perfect. And we've got this is the thing. We've got.
I know 43 Rodon in there. I'd rather have Rodon over him. He's better on the ball. Yeah, he's like.
Oh, you know what? Proving my point even more, Mike. Thank you.
This is a good conversation. I was going to say, talking points are our Sid.
Yeah.
This sounds like it could definitely be on one of them shows. 100%, I think so. Gentlemen, we said we were going to be on here for half an hour. We've nearly done an hour about this game here.
It was fun,
but it's been fun. It's been real fun. I must admit. Dear me, some of them comments of Darius, you just need to sell him to We Are Tottenham TV. I think that was the best one today for me. Sell him to We Are Tottenham TV in January.
If we win, make sure you come on tomorrow, mate.
I'll be here. I'm going to the pub to watch the game with my flatmate who is a West Ham fan. I'm going to be live, sort of. If they win, I'm going to have it straight in my face. I told him I've got to go and do Paxton. I'm going to be leaving 10 minutes early. I'm not going to be happy if we lose.
Has your visa been approved?
Oh, mate, I'm here. Legally or illegally, I'm here, mate. So don't
No,
you
I
worry.
meant my other half. And she approved your visa to go.
Oh, that one. She's in Wolves. She's in Wolves. No worries. No worries at the moment.
Where are we going with this show today?
Yeah.
Where are we bloody going with this show
get
today? Let's get off here, because otherwise it's going to descend into chaos, and we don't need it to descend into any more chaos than it already had, because Darius has thrown grenades in today, and he said West Ham are going to win. You can't do that. You just can't do that. Woo! Anyway, lads, Mike, Hotspur, Hustler, Darius 3K, Sid Spurs, and Sean H, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. And let's make sure we're all on tomorrow. If we can, the same panel, that'd be great. Because we're going to have some talks. We're going to have some talks, aren't we? Right then, guys. See you all later.
See you later.